I'm really gonna expose myself to you all right now and show you what we're working with. It's not pretty. It's not even a little pretty, to be quite frank. So this is where we are. This whole situation is scary. I've got scrap fabrics in there. I've got fabrics that I want to use in there. There's more fabrics there. There's a bunch of things, clothes and shoes here. Patterns, I can't. I'm just going to close that for now. Yarn, chaotic. Needles, there's a dress in there. And then I don't even know what's in here. Okay, we're going to close that too because that doesn't make any sense. And then I might have to transport these books to make room for, well, more storage stuff. And then there's that trolley, which should be organized, but is not. I've got these envelopes that are going to serve as, they're gonna hold my patterns, essentially. Each one is gonna have a pattern. They're gonna be labeled. It's gonna be lovely. A friend of mine on Instagram has this set up with the envelopes. I love it. And then this, I'll show you in a second, but they're basically sewing thread racks. There's 2 of them, and they're gonna hang up here next to my calendar that is clearly not being utilized very well. And then this desk situation has to be organized, those patterns. There's just a lot that needs to be done. I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, so this is it. This is actually perfect. So I've got 2 of these, and they're gonna hang here. I don't know of the exact way that they're gonna hang, but that's gonna be super helpful for me. And yeah, so the other one is over there. And then I'm going to this store nearby that's got like these sort of cubes, except they're collapsible, and I'm gonna put my yarn in them, and they're gonna go probably somewhere over here. So that's the plan. I just showered, so my hair's still wet, but I didn't want to wait for this to be done because I've been putting it off for too long, and I just want to have like an aesthetic sewing room. So that's what we're gonna accomplish today. I'm gonna go out to get those bins now, and then I'm gonna start to organize. And then once I've got that, then we're just gonna I'm gonna take you along with me for the ride. So that's what we're doing today, my friends. Let's get into it. You know, when you're organizing things and you have to start somewhere, but you don't know where to start? That's where I'm at. Ugh, I don't know. Everything is a mess. Maybe I'll just start with the fabric, and I'll start with what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep, and then organize my scraps, and then start with the yarn. I think that's going to be the way to do that. So I'm gonna get into the fabric. This is a bathing suit fabric, my Boutine bathing suit fabric that I never got around to using, so that's gonna go in the summer pile. This is some denim that's definitely gonna get used, so I'm gonna put that in my yes pile. Okay, and then this is like a cotton, this is like a shirting. I'm gonna put that, this is like a bright white, I'm gonna put that in the summer pile or the navy pile, whatever that is. Okay, so these are the yes fabrics, and I'm gonna go through that thing of fabrics over there. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Anyways, I'm gonna go through that. I'm gonna grab it. Oh, guys, why am I like this? Why am I like this? Like, I'm not a tidy person, and I know this about myself. This hard yes is going into the yes pile. So truthfully, this goes on for quite a while because I have not yet realized that this is going to take me a long time. And so this is all like sunshine and roses at this point. I'm going through my fabrics, deciding which I want to keep, which I don't want to keep. or at this point right now, I'm just pulling clothing that somehow got mixed into this and yarn and a whole bunch of other stuff. And honestly, I am just like shook at how absolutely disastrous this was. But it was good that I went through it because it was honestly overdue. And so we're not going to go through this part individually as I'm picking things up because it really did take a long time. But you can just see how disorganized I actually was, and maybe it will help you appreciate the end product if you make it to the end. And I think you should because it gets a lot better. Okay, I think what I need to do is organize some of this off camera because it's going to be a very boring video otherwise. And then I'll loop back when I've made some progress. All right, bye. I have good news and bad news. Good news, I found some bins and they're filled with things that I thought I had lost or I didn't know where they were. Bad news is there's a lot more that I have to deal with now. And if you can see behind my little projector, there's even more. So this is stuff that like I brought from my old apartment that I just didn't deal with at the time because I was stressed about moving. And now it's time to deal with it. So we're gonna deal with it. We're dealing with it. I have one neat little shelf done. Well, kind of done. But anyways, we're getting somewhere at least. But there's still... Oh God, I need to turn this off. I can't believe I'm showing you this. Goodbye. I just hung up this baby. I don't know if this camera angle's working, but I just hung this up. I would have showed you what that was like, but it was very rudimentary. And I literally just used my sewing machine screwdriver. Clearly I do not use tools very often. So now I'm just going to put my little spools of thread and my bobbins on here, and I still have a lot more to do. I will show you. Yes, there's still a lot, but there is actually progress, and I'm just tackling this right now because I just need a small win. So I'm gonna put these onto here. Boom, small win. This pile I've actually organized. This is woven, sorry, this is denim. This is cotton, and then, not that. Oh, man, these got mixed up. Oh, in here. This is linen in there. So I'm going to be giving this to a lovely woman who's going to come pick it up tomorrow. And then I've got a bag of garbage, and then I just have to go back into that room and sort it out. But it is actually already looking better, so that is great. This wool is beautiful though, so I'm happy I found this. I'm gonna put that in the good pile. I let you all go for a little bit because truthfully this was boring and it was a lot of me just complaining to myself about the circumstance that I put myself in. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like now. And it doesn't look good, but it does look better. So here we've got some storage stuff. So these are things that are primarily like summer or fabrics that I know I would like to keep, but I'm not going to. That's in those bins, yarn as well. And then those two piles are going to be given to someone who's coming by tomorrow. And I've got some trash, and then I've got just the rest of this stuff to deal with. I like how that looks over there. Once I have got some art up as well, it'll be really nice. Yeah, I basically just have to tidy now, which isn't so bad. I've organized my yarns. It wasn't as intense as I thought it was gonna be. And I guess the biggest thing that I have to do, like I definitely don't have to go out and get any more storage stuff, which I thought I was gonna have to do. So that's cool, save a little bit of money. The big task now is organizing my patterns. But I think before I do that, I'm gonna just get rid of all the excess stuff and then just sit down and do the patterns. And then I think that we'll call it for today after that. I ended up deciding not to organize my paper patterns, but I did decide to put them into a pile so that I could deal with them the next day, because there were patterns scattered everywhere, little pieces of paper, pattern pieces from all sorts of different patterns in the wrong spot. And so I decided I would just keep everything organized, put it all together so that I could deal with it the next day, and then just continue to organize and tidy things up so that they could be in their proper place and I could get the clutter off the floor and just have a nice tidy room and have everything more or less ready to go for the next day when I work on the patterns. Plus, I was just exhausted at this point and ready to call it a day. So that's what I did. All right, it's Sunday. I got quite a bit done yesterday. I'm pretty pleased with it. I did put a little bit of a pause because honestly, it was a lot more work than I was even expecting. So I've got quite a few things I want to show you. First off is look how this is looking. Over here, I've got a bag of things that I'm giving to someone this afternoon. So I'm very excited to hand that off to her. And I've just got like a little bin of things I need to sort through that are kind of like miscellaneous. I wasn't sure where to put them. But the big task for today is handling these patterns. So what I'm going to be doing is grabbing some envelopes and labeling them and organizing the patterns and putting them back into here. I'll show you what I do for that. I'll show you what I've been doing so far. I think it's turning out pretty well. So I've got some patterns here. These are the ones I've already finished. I've got these envelopes. They're just plain white letter envelopes. And I guess they're called catalog envelopes from the package anyways. The patterns are in here, just like that. I'm folding them up kind of like this-ish, but a bit tighter because that's not gonna fit in there. And then I'm just writing the name of the pattern company, the name of the pattern, and then if it's something that I have like multiple of or like multiple sizes, I'll put like the size number on here. Realistically, I should put that on all of them, but oops, I guess not. So I've done 1, 2, 3 so far. I've got a lot more. Essentially, I'm going through all of my like paper printout patterns. I've got a big lump of them over here. And then we'll swirl over here. I've got a bunch of sort of unsorted and some sorted and some mixed sorted vintage patterns, and then some more paper patterns, and then some commercial, or I guess indie patterns, but in their paper package. And yeah, I'm just writing on it with a little Sharpie marker, and this is what I'm gonna settle in to do for a little bit. So it's gonna take a bit, it'll take a little while, but it's okay because it's gonna be really satisfying when it's done. So I'll see you in a sec. Or I'll see you in a bit. It'll be maybe a second for you, it'll be a bit longer for me. One thing that I am realizing is that 1, I already knew that this was a mess, and 2, it's even more of a mess than I realized because, well, I'm already, like, I've got this stack over there and I'm, putting patterns away, and for the most part, they're all together, but then I'll just like pick a pattern piece up and be like, oh, I have to put this in there. Oh, I have to put this in there. So they really are quite disorganized, and I'm hoping that this helps me. I do tend to just like shove things into places that they don't. Anyways, I tend to just shove things places. And so I'm going to try to not do that this time and keep my system, because it will be a lot less of a headache if I don't have to always like search for pattern pieces. So anyways, just a thought. This is what the patterns look like now that they're all in their little envelopes. I think I'm going to pick up a separate bin for the vintage patterns because I don't necessarily want to put them in these envelopes. I put some of them in because they needed them, but a lot of these don't need them. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pick up a separate little container or a little crate to put the vintage patterns in. But otherwise, this is ready to go. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. I would love if you could give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Otherwise, I really hope that you liked this video. It's always fun to kind of share the behind the scenes and show the not so pretty side of the internet, because this was definitely not pretty, but it still has, you know, some ways to go. There are some things that I definitely want to, you know, change and make more comfy about this space. Get a couple more like storage solutions, all that stuff. But until then, you know, it's functional and tidy right now, and I hope to keep it that way. So if you have any organization tips that you implement in your crafting space, I would love to hear about it. And if you are not yet following me on TikTok or on Instagram, I would love if you followed me there. I post about all this stuff and more, so if you want to hang out more, that's a good place to go. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Mondays are the official schedule, so we're going to be consistent about that, and I'll see you there next Monday. Bye.